Good news, everyone. China has joined Korea in the fight against evil. Chinese Me Too journalist jailed for 5 years. Chinese false allegation journalist jailed for 5 years. We've got to put this in the proper framing. Me Too is false allegations, so they're criminals, and she's being jailed, right? And there's the hate monger right there, a prominent female you know, uh, false allegation activist in China has been handed 5-year jail sentence for subversion against the state. Now that's interesting, right? Men can never say hatred against men, right? But they'll say it's subversion against the state. Why are they saying that? Because China is going to be a contender for #1 in the world soon. And they look at the West and see what these false allegation females do to the male population and therefore harm society, right? The feminists in Europe are dragging it down. So they correctly see it as subversion, right? Right. Let's see. Labor activist who stood trial with Ms. Huang was sentenced to 3 years, 6 months in prison. Okay, that's good. That's good, right? And it's a proper. They're not like throwing her away for 20 years, but they're recognizing that this person is a criminal, everybody. She has also spoken out about the misogyny and sexism she faced in Chinese newsrooms. In other words, she was not handed a free ride. That's what the sexism is, right? She had to compete with men and she couldn't. So of course she calls it misogyny. Remember, misogyny just means men who don't know their own place. Chinese authorities have not made it clear how the two stood accused for subversion, of course, because they can never come out and say this is an attack on men. Men do not want to support other men, right? Because that's what's going on here. Now, Miss Huang has been on her way to take up a UK government-sponsored master's scholarship. The UK is a feminist shithole. It shits on its men continuously. Here, let me just show you real quick. Let me just pause this. Remember my most important playlist? There's a video where Britain is trying to strip men of their rights, trying to put a 6 o'clock curfew for all men, no matter what they're innocent or guilty of anything, right? Now let's see, there should be another one down here. Yeah, look at this. Looking at women is now illegal in UK, right? They did the no staring laws, right? They're saying men on the transit have to keep their eyes down. Don't just look at a woman, right? So that's the UK, everyone. That's the UK. So this scumbag, this man-hater, went to the UK and she immediately jumped on board, right? Remember, the hatred women have of men is like gasoline. All it needs is a single spark to flare up. And going to the UK was the spark. Supporters have both endured months of solitary confinement. Don't give a shit. Don't give a shit what happens to these criminals, right? Let's see, anything else we need to talk about? 2021, amid COVID lockdowns and growing public anger, Chinese authorities launched a crackdown on several activists working across different fields. Yeah, what's this got to do with anything? Their efforts and dedication to labor and stripping of men of their rights, that's what women's rights are. You got to get the framing right. And the broader civil society won't be negated by this unjust trial. No, it's a just trial. The men of China in the Chinese government know exactly what's going on. They see what's going on here in the West. Nor will society forget their criminality. because it's not contributions. Their contributions is criminality. On the contrary, as the fight against evil and injustice grows, more criminals like them will continue to rise. See how I'm correcting the language, right? Exactly. The false allegation activism has empowered women who hate men of sexual against men not knowing their place around the world. See, this is how would you say it? This is how you recognize, right? And remember, the only thing that these Chinese women really had to gripe about was that the average mother threw her daughters away because she wanted sons to look after her, right? And that corrected itself way before these women got on board. So they have nothing to argue about. This is just them attacking men. And the Chinese government knows it, but because people, men especially, cannot come to terms with women's hatred of them, they can never voice it for what it is. But I'm glad this scumbag, false allegation criminal was finally put behind bars. I spit on you. Okay, that's it, everyone. We'll stop it right here.